All right, so I needed to restart the video. I ran out of time. So what we had is in this line right here, we have factoring, y minus 1, y minus 2, and I factored the denominator of the second expression as well. So now what I want to do is look for the common denominator. So I have a y minus 1, I have a y plus 2, and I have a y minus 2. So those are the factors that are on the denominator that I need to account for. So I look on top to my numerator, and then I look at the denominator. What am I missing from this particular denominator? And I'm missing the y plus 2. And on this expression, I am missing a y minus 2. Next step, I'm going to just work my way through the bracket. 3y, that 3 will also go with this negative 2, so it becomes negative 6. My bottom stays the same. And then I collect my like terms. Sounds very repetitive. I do this a lot. And I have this bottom that I have to I need to rewrite. And then I notice that I need to simplify the top. So I'm going to pull a 4 out front, and that leaves me with a y minus 1. I rewrite my denominator, and then I look to see if I can cancel anything out, and I can. I can cancel out my y minus 1 and my y minus 1, and my answer then will be left with a 4 on the top, y plus 2, and y minus 2. Restrictions: y cannot equal plus or minus 2. But here's the other thing. I have to always look to see if there was anything else on the way down that was a restriction. And if you notice, and stay with me here, I had at this point, but I also had it here and I had it here, I had a y minus 1 as well. So I also need to have a restriction there. So I have a 1 as a restriction. So when you do your restrictions, look up and see if there's any other restrictions that need to be included. Even if they get canceled out halfway down, they still need to be included on the restriction, because if they're there, we're going to get to 0 and we won't be able to continue with the question. All right, I'm going to continue on now, and I have just a couple more things to do. More complex. Let's start over here by factoring the top, factoring the bottom. So we are definitely getting lots of practice with our factoring. These are pretty straightforward factors because they are just by inspection. There's no number out front, so I don't have to do decomposition. Now you can certainly go through and stop this if you need to, or re-look at this, but the idea is this is kind of basic factoring of each of those terms. All right, so now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start canceling at this point. So this is a little different, but I can't just cancel across the negative sign or the subtraction sign in the middle, but I can cancel if they are on top below each other. So this negative 1 and this negative 1 can go. This x plus 6 and this x plus 6 can go. And now I'm going to rewrite my equation and end up with I'm just coming over from the right hand side of the page. I have x minus 2 and an x minus 4, and I'm going to subtract an x plus 4 and an x plus 2. Now, what do I do next? I'm just going to keep going to the right because there's a little bit more room. I need to have common denominator, which is what we've been doing all the way along, which would be x minus 4 and x plus 2. I look at my top expression, and I have an x minus 2, and I'll have to multiply that by this denominator, which is x plus 4, or sorry, x plus 2, because I'm missing it. And then I do the same thing here. I have an x plus 4 And I'll be multiplying that by the x minus 4 because I was missing that. I'm going to keep going down, so now I'm going this direction, and I will, at this point, what will I do? I will multiply through the bracket, so I'm going to do some FOIL. But notice this first one's pretty straightforward because it's an x squared minus 4. How did I do that? I recognize that this, oh, sorry, let me just see if I can pull that out again real quick. X minus 2 and x plus 2, we know that that's difference of squares. I recognize they were the same, just with a negative versus a positive sign in the middle. This other one is an x squared, and I have a negative. Here's the, watch this for a sec. Do you see this? Before I put the negative sign in, I have an x squared minus 16, correct? That's what this expression really is. This. However, I have this negative sign, so I'm going to have to take that through the bracket. So I am actually going to get a positive 16 right here. I took this negative throughout. All right, so once I have that, put my bottom down, which is an x minus 4, x plus 2, and the top becomes 12 because my x squares cancel out, and my bottom is x minus 4 and x plus 2. There is the answer. X cannot equal. Okay, so we've got a list. I'm going to erase this. Hope you saw this x squared minus 16. I have, what do I have? Well, I have to look all the way through. So I'm going to use light blue to show you. I have a negative 6, I have a negative 2, I have a 1, and I have a 4. So there are 4, and again, I can look anywhere throughout the question. I have to make sure I have them all covered. So I had a negative 6, a negative 2, a 1, and a 4, and you need to include that. All right, one last question. The next one, let's see, we're just, they're giving us the answer. They're saying this is the answer, this can be reduced to this, and they're asking us to show how that is possible. And so really what we're doing is just working through this question, similar to the one up above. So just gets a little complicated, and good thing they've given us lots of room. So I'm going to start with my 2a plus 7 on top. And my bottom, I'm going to factor a plus 3, a plus 4, and then my next term is going to be, I remember this question. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a negative a squared, and we know that we don't like negatives in front of our first squared term. So what could I do instead? Well, if I multiply this by a negative 1, that would give this a positive. That would cause my 9 to be negative. So if I do that, what I'm going to end up getting is a negative 2a, and I'm going to have an a squared minus 9. So all I've done is I've changed the signs by multiplying by a negative. So I've done that. I can change that around. I now like this better because now I can see that I'm going to have a difference of squares. So we did go over that whole negative 1 thing. Just check it out. You may want to go over that again. I'm going to go this way, sideways. No, I usually like to line up my equal signs, but this question is long, and I think I need this space over here. I'm going to rewrite my a plus 3, a plus 4 on the bottom, and this next term, which is the 2a over a squared minus 9, I am just going to factor the bottom, which is a minus 3 and a plus 3. Again, difference of squares. Once I do that, then I go and I write down in my next line, this, I'm going this way now, my common denominator. My common denominators are going to be, for these two expressions, a plus 3, a plus 4, and a minus 3, because you recognize I have an a plus 3, but it's already accounted for in this expression, so I only need one of those. And then on the top, I have a 2a plus 7. That's what I was given. And then I look to see what am I missing, comparing the new denominator with the old denominator. And I need to multiply by a minus 3. The next term, I'll write down 2a. What am I missing? I am missing an a plus 4. You may need to go back and just check that out to make sure you understand what I did there. Then I will equal that and put an equal sign, and then I'm going to FOIL. So I'm foiling the 2a with the a, the 2a with the 3, the 7 with the a, and the 7 with the negative 3. So that's what I'm going to do, and I will get 2a squared plus a minus 21. Now I did the two middle terms, I've already taken that into account. So I did a negative 6a plus 7a gives me an a. So I did that all in one step. And the other term will be 2a squared minus 8a. I'll put my denominator down, a minus 3. And then I'm going to continue on over here and collect all my like terms. I end up with a 2a squared minus 2a squared minus 8a. Oh no, just the squareds. That means my a squares are gone, so I have none. Then so these canceled out. And so now I'm left with an a minus a negative 8. So that's where I get my negative 7a. And my negative 21 is still there. I don't have to combine that with anything. A plus 3, a plus 4, a minus 3. And what I will do next is pull out my negative 7. Always remember this step. I need to simplify it. When I pull out my negative 7, that makes my bracket positive. A plus 3, a plus 4, a minus 3, and then you're going to say, hey, I can cancel something out. I have an a plus 3 and an a plus 3, therefore my final answer will be a negative 7 on top, and I'll have an a plus 4, a minus 3. My restrictions, a cannot equal, and I need to go and look up on top. I cannot have a negative 4, I cannot have a plus or a negative 3. All right, there is an awful lot of work here to go through all these questions, but be real careful. Make sure you check the answers as you go through them, and you can finish this assignment, which is questions 3 to 11. And if you didn't do all of 1 and 2, make sure you go back and do that as well. Have a great day.